الكونين ومولى الثقلين وشفيع الأمة يوم المحشر، النبي المختار محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ولعن عدوهم، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المظلومين. السلام عليك يا هادي الأمم، السلام عليك يا ولي النعم، السلام عليك يا عيبة العلم، السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا محمد الحسن بن علي الهادي المهتدي العسكري، ورحمة الله وبركاته. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت محمد أي منقلب سينقلبون، والعاقبة للمتقين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters, mu'mineen and mu'minat, I send my condolences first and foremost to the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa zaman, and the Ummah al-Islamiyya, and to you all on the istishhad, on the martyrdom of the father of our beloved Imam, al-Muntadhar al-Mahdi, Hajj Allah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif, al-Imam al-Zaki al-Hadi al-Muhtadi al-Askari, al-Imam al-Hasan ibn Ali, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Imam al-Askari alayhi salam is a pivotal miracle in our lives that we see that as much as they try to silence his beautiful shrine alongside his father, Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, Ali al-Hadi, but now it is more glorious than ever, with the millions flocking towards it, pledging allegiance to our beloved Imam and to his son, Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif. Today we remember and we mourn the father of our beloved Imam. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to go to that holy land of Samarra, that beautiful land where two stars are buried. And inshallah, where Imam Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif is able to come and join us soon with his reappearance, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows it. Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif. We will start our program today with the recitation of Quran with Alad Salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad wa ajil. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. Up next, inshallah, we will have the recitation of Ziyarat al-Imam al-Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam, recited by our dear brother Mustafa Kamali, and I would like to welcome him with a lot of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا محمد الحسن بن علي الهادي المهتدي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا ولي الله وابن أوليائه السلام عليك يا حجة الله وابن حججه السلام عليك يا صفي الله وابن أصفيائه السلام عليك يا خليفة الله وابن خلفائه وأبا خليفته السلام عليك يا ابن خاتم النبيين السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ابن الأئمة الهادين. السلام عليك يا ابن الأوصياء الراشدين. السلام عليك يا عصمة المتقين. السلام عليك يا إمام الفائزين. السلام عليك يا ركن المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فرج الملهوفين. السلام عليك يا وارث الأنبياء المنتجبين. السلام عليك يا خازن علم وصي رسول الله. السلام عليك أيها الداعي بحكم الله. السلام عليك أيها الناطق بكتاب الله. السلام عليك يا حجة الحجاج. السلام عليك يا هادي الأمم. السلام عليك يا ولي النعم. السلام عليك يا عيبة العلم. السلام عليك يا سفينة الحلم. السلام عليك يا أبا الإمام المنتظر. الظاهرة للعاقل حجة، والثابتة في اليقين معرفة، المحتجب عن أعين الظالمين، والمغيب عن دولة الفاسقين، والمعيد ربنا به الإسلام جديدا بعد الانتماس، والقرآن غبا بعد الاندراس. أشهد يا مولاي أنك غمت الصلاة، وآتيت الزكاة، وأمرت بالمعروف، ونهيت عن المنكر، ودعوت إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة، وعبدت الله مخلصا حتى أتاك اليقين. أسأل الله بالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يتقبل زيارتي لكم، ويشكر سعي إليكم، ويستجيب دعائي بكم، ويجعلني من أنصار الحق وأتباعه وأشياعه ومواليه ومحبيه. والسلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته، وصل على الحسن بن علي الهادي إلى دينك، والداعي إلى سبيلك، علم الهدى ومنار التقى ومعدن الحجاب ومأوى النهار، وغيث الورى وسحاب الحكمة وبحر الموعظة ووارث الأئمة، والشهيد على الأمة، أمة المعصوم المهذب، والفاضل المقرب، والمطهر من الرجس، الذي ورثته علم الكتاب، وألهمته فصل الخطاب، ونصبته علما لأهل قبلتك، وقرنت طاعته بطاعتك، وفرضت مودته على جميع خليقتك. اللهم فكما أناب بحسن الإخلاص في توحيدك، وأردى من خاب في تشبيهك، وحام عن أهل الإيمان بك، فصل يا رب عليه صلاة يلحق بها محل الخاشعين، ويعلو في الجنة بدرجة جده خاتم النبيين، وبلغه منا تحية وسلاما، وآتنا من لدنك في موالاته فضلا وإحسانا ومغفرة ورضوانا، إنك ذو فضل عظيم ومن جسيم، يا دائم يا ديم، يا حي يا قيوم، يا كاشف الكرب والهام، ويا فارج الغام، ويا باعث الرسول، ويا صادق الوعد، ويا حي لا إله إلا أنت، أتوسل إليك بحبيبك محمد ووصيه علي بن عمه وصهره، على ابنته الذي حتمت بهم الشرائع وفتحت بهم التأويل والتلائع، فصل عليهما صلاة يشهد بها الأولون والآخرون وينجو بها الأولياء والصالحون، وأتوسل إليك بفاطمة الزهراء والدة الأئمة المهديين وسيدة نساء العالمين المشفعة في شيعة أولادها الطيبين، فصل عليها صلاة دائمة أبد الآبدين ودهر الداهرين، وأتوسل إليك بالحسن الربيع الطاهر الزكي، والحسين المظلوم المربي البر التقي، سيدي شباب أهل الجنة الإمامين الخيرين الطيبين التقين النقين الطاهرين الشهيدين المظلومين المقتولين، فصل عليهما ما طلعت شمس وما غربت صلاة متوالية متتالية، وأتوسل إليك بعلي بن الحسين سيد العابدين المحجوب من خوف الظالمين، وبمحمد بن علي الباقر الطاهر النور الزاهر الإمامين السيدين مفتاحي البركات ومصباحي الظلمات، فصل عليهما ما سرى ليل وما أبى نهار صلاة تغدو وتروح، وأتوسل إليك بجعفر بن محمد الصادق عن الله والناطق في علم الله، وبموسى بن جعفر العبد الصالح في نفسه والوصي الناصح الإمامين الهاديين المهديين الوافيين الكافيين، فصل عليهما ما سبح لك ملاك وتحرك لك فلك صلاة تنمى وتزيد ولا تفنى ولا تدبير، وأتوسل إليك بعلي بن موسى الرضا وبمحمد بن علي المرتضى الإمامين المطهرين المنتجبين، فصل عليهما ما أضاء صبح ودام صلاة ترقيهما إلى رضوانك بالعليين من جنانك، وأتوسل إليك بعلي بن محمد الراشد والحسن بن علي الهادي القائمين بأمر عبادك المختبرين بالمحن الهائلة والصابرين في الإحن المائلة، وصل عليهما كفاجر الصابرين وإزاء ثواب الفائزين، صلاة تمهد لهما الرفعة، وأتوسل إليك يا رب بإمامنا ومحقق زماننا اليوم الموعود وشاهد المشهود والنور الأزهر والضياء الأنوار والمنصور بالرعب والمظفر بالسعادة. وصل عليه عدد الثمار وأوراق الشجر وأجزاء المدار وعدد الشعر والوبار وعدد ما حاد به علما وأحصاه كتابك صلاة يغبطه بها الأولون والآخرون. اللهم واحشرنا في زمرته واحفظنا على طاعته واحرسنا بدولته وادحفنا بولايته وانصرنا على عدنا بعزته واجعلنا يا رب من التوابين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم وإن إبليس المتمرد اللعين قد استنذرك لإطواء خلقك فأنذرت واستمهلك لإبلاغ عبيدك فأمهلته بسابق علمك فيه وقد عشاش وكثرت جنوده وازدحمت جيوشه وانتشرت دعاته في أقطار الأرض فأضلوا عبادك وأفسدوا دينك وحرفوا الكلمة عن مواضعه وجعلوا عبادك شيعا متفرقين وأحزابا متمردين. وقد وعدت نقب بنيانه وتمزيق شأنه أهلك أولاده وجيوشه وطهر بلادك من اختراعاته واختلافاته وارح عبادك من مذاهبه وقياساته واجعل دائرة السوء عليهم وبسد عدلك وظهر دينك وقوم أولياءك وأوهن أعداءك وأورث ديار إبليس وديار أوليائه أولياءك وخلدهم في الجحيم وأذقهم من العذاب الأليم واجعل عائنك المستودعة في مناحس الخلقة ومشاويها الفطرة دائرة عليهم وموكلة بهم مجارية فيهم كل صباح ومساء وغدو ورواح. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا برحمتك عذاب النار يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم يا كريم. جزاكم الله خير, dear brother Mustafa Kamali. Thank you so much for the recitation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept for your amal. Without further ado, inshallah, we will have our lecture presented by Samahat Sayyid Muhammad al-Mudarrisi, and I would like to welcome him with a lot of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم يا كريم.
الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى آل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. يا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. the life of our 11th Imam, Imam Al-Hasan ibn Ali Al-Askari alayhi salam, was very short compared to the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhim ajma'in, for the exception of Imam Al-Jawad alayhi salam, who was younger than him when he was martyred. But to the standard even of that days, was cut short. But that didn't stop the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi from delivering his message and do the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed on him. You know, I was thinking that if someone dies young, a lot of people will become sad because of his life was cut short and he had a lot of wishes and a lot of things to do in his life, and no one will blame if he didn't accomplish much. But when you look at the life of Imam Abu Muhammad Al-Hasan ibn Ali Al-Askari, you see that didn't stop the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi from accomplishing everything that someone been put in his situation and more. To put for 20 years with his father in that military compound city, and to be confined not just to the border of that city, except for like maybe a few times that he was allowed out to go out of the city, but to his home. And not just that, on every Monday and Thursday, he needed to go to the palace to present himself and to show himself. So that is to further humiliate the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. So he was taken away from his city, which is Medina al-Munawwarah, the city of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to a city that's not even like Baghdad. Even Baghdad at the time of the Imams alayhim ala tahiyyatu wa salams, they were Shia residing in that city. But for that Samarra to be built from ground up and to just be a city for a people, mercenaries, not even normal soldiers. They were mercenaries who, after a while, took over the ruling of from the Abbasis. So they would change them as they liked and replace them as they wishes. So they were mercenaries unlike any other mercenaries as well, because even the people of Baghdad, and the reason they relocated to that city was the people of Baghdad were fed up with them. They didn't follow the rules of normal people, of course. They oppressed people, they stamped people, they would go to shops and take whatever they want. So they didn't have any loyalty whatsoever to anyone but to the so-called Khalifa, was Al-Mu'tazil Abbasi, Al-Mu'tasim Al-Abbasi, alayhi la'anullah. So when they relocated to Samarra, they didn't speak a lot of Arabic. Even their names, you can see that it was in Arab. They were kept away, like a lot of people, from the true Islam. And subhanallah, even the most cruel of them, you see, when they met the Imams, salawatullah wa salam alayhi, and the employee and the mercenaries of the so-called Khalifa, Imam changed. Once Ahmad ibn Abdullah ibn Khaqan, as I recall, he was an employee of Khalifa of its time. I don't recall the name of that Khalifa. Maybe it was after the Mu'tamad, definitely after the Mu'tamad. They were talking about the Imam, and he said that I haven't seen anyone. I mean, keep in mind, this guy is the son of a minister of the Khalifa, and he's an employee of the Khalifa. Subhanallah, but the Imams changed their opinion. They didn't become Shia. Some actually did, but they were respectful of the Imam. He would say that I never seen someone like him. I mean, Bani Hashim, to respect him, of course. Bani Hashim, I mean, keep in mind, Bani Hashim had elders in Bani Hashim, but at the end, they followed their leader. But for the people of the military, and that he put it, that Qadat al-Jaysh, the head of the military, the commanders of the military, the generals of their military, to respect the Imam Salamullah alayh, and to bow their head down for the Imam Salamullah alayh. So in another way, Imam Salamullah alayh changed the opinion of his prisoners, of his captives. He was the prisoner, and he changed their opinion. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, idfa' billati hiya ahsanu sayyi'ah. 2 times in the Quran, one in Surah Al-Mu'minun. That idfa' billati hiya ahsanu sayyi'ah. Repel with good deeds the bad, the evil. And Ahl Bayt salawatullahi wa salam alayhim ajma'in, they didn't go off their the rules of the Islam, the Sharia of Islam, because they wanted something done. No. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept their name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even would put their love into the hearts of people, even nowadays, who never even met the Imams salawatullahi wa salam alayhim ajma'in. How do you think people who are not even Muslim, we don't have that with not a lot of people. Like if you examine this closely and see that people who not from your ethnicity, who not from your religion, and not from your school of thought, at least honor the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. That, of course, will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he said in the Quran, that من يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. If you do even the smallest good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you, whether in this life or the hereafter. At least in this life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will honor people who have good deeds and honor the people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored with bestowing them their imamah. So the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, he in one instant that they would throw him in jail several times during his time in Samarra. But one was interesting for me, that there was a Turkish commander called Ali ibn Awtamish. So they put the Imam alayhi salam in his jail. So it was a special jail, as they put the Imam al-Hadi before him as well, and they put Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam as well in the jail of Sindi ibn Shahik. they had jails in their own homes. So when they met after Ali ibn Awtamish, they saw Ali ibn Awtamish, he would put his cheek, I mean, imagine, he would put his cheek, I mean, down to the ground for the Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. And he never, after that, he looked Imam salamullah alayhi at his eye. And imagine, Imam salamullah alayhi, when he was martyred, he was 28, and he has the shortest period of imamah out of all imams. So he wasn't imam for a very long time, just 6 years, from the age of 22 until the age of 28. And one of the accomplishment of Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, if you see that the Shia number grown rapidly throughout Islamic world. There were a lot of Shia in Hawaz, in Basra, in Kufa, in Baghdad, in Medina, in Mecca, in Yemen, and nowadays Lebanon, and Levites, and in Qom and other parts of Iran as well, and like for example Nishabur. So how to manage this number of Shia while you are confined in that city as a prisoner, and a lot of spies and eyes would guard you and always spy on you, and people will always at your home. Even imagine they went to extend that when they throw the Imam salamullah alayhi at jail, they had like a spy in jail writing reports on the Imam alayhi salam. So to this extent that they would do this, and that was for several reasons. And one, of course, the tyrants are always suspicious, always. One of the trait that they all share, one of the qualities they all share, they always, like even nowadays, if you notice, and the tyrants, one of the things about the tyrants, they are always suspicious of people. For the smallest suspicion, they will kill or spy or do whatever to preserve, because they know it's not legitimate. They know they got this from not a legitimate way. So they're always afraid. So they would do everything to preserve the ruling, their chair and their rules. So these people would send, even imagine, women to the house of Imam, because they heard narrations that this is the 11th Imam, and the 12th Imam, which will be his son Al-Hujjat ibn Hasan Askari, روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدار الفداء, will be the one who will finish all the injustice in this world, who will fill this world with justice and goodness. So they see that as a threat, even if they don't believe in it, even if it's a small chance that this will happen, they would do everything in their power to stop it from happening. So they would send spies into the house of Imam. And so in this environment, Imam needed to do everything in his power to preserve his Shia first, and to run their affairs. So he would appoint Wakala as a representative of like the Imam before him, which is Imam Al-Hadi alayhi salam did, had a representative in Baghdad, Uthman ibn Sa'id, and representative in Ahwaz, I think Ali ibn Mahziyar, and in Qom, Ahmad ibn Ishaq, and so forth. So in every place, he would give them a full authority, and he will write that everything that you want, ask from my representative. So here, Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi taught the people and prepared the people for the occultation of the 12th Imam, salawatullahi wasalam alayhi. And for 2 periods of occultation. So the first, the Ghaybat al-Sughra, the small occultation, and which unfortunately we now are in, the Ghaybat al-Kubra, the big occultation. But still the Shia, they were eager to see Imam salawatullahi wasalam alayhi. And they would do everything and pay every amount they can to at least look at the Imam alayhi salam. So would they go in for any excuse to Samarra, whenever the representative as-Samman, like Uthman ibn Sa'id, he would go as he would selling oil or like lard or fat. And there was this representative of Imam who went there. So before he went inside, or after he actually went, he went to someone who is selling vegetables. So he asked him how much is that all this pile of cucumber cost? And he said, for example, 20 dirhams. And he said, okay, this is 20 dirhams, and give me the basket as well, and give me your shirt. He said, what do you want my shirt for? He said, just give me your shirt. If you would like to sell it, I will buy it. So okay, that's for another few dirhams as well. And he would take that and go in the alleys and the streets of Samarra yelling cucumber to pretend that he's selling cucumber until he reaches the house of Imam alayhi salam. And Imam salamullah alayhi, of course, knowing that this guy is pretending, and invite him in. So on pretenses that they want to buy some vegetables. And so they would give the Imam alayhi salam the question they had, and they would give the Imam salamullah alayhi the money, the wujuhat, the khums, the zakawat, so the Imam salamullah alayhi to spread it around the Shia. There was this narration, one of the Shia saw in Mecca, there is a person who is giving a lot of money to the Shia. I think the amount was about 30,000 dirham or dinar, I'm not sure. There's a lot of difference, of course, between dirham and dinar, but I'm not sure. So he went to the Imam and said, this guy is giving this much. He said, yes, I gave it to him to help our Shia. So, during that time, there was this uprising of slaves in Basra. But the person who, maybe equivalent to Spartacus, this person was a really unjust and unfair and brutal person. I think the duration of his rule was about 14 years. And people, out of starvation, start eating cats and dogs, and sometimes the limbs of the deceased. And Imam Salamullah alayhi, first of all, because this person claimed that he is from Ahl Bayt, he refuted his claim that he is not from us. And Imam Salamullah alayhi would help the people who needed help at that city, or the people who fled that city. Imam Salawatullah Salam alayhi helped them throughout their endeavor and their troubles. One of the things that Imam Salawatullah Salam alayhi did is to preserve his Shia. So his Shia went out of love. You know how out of love we go to visit our shrines of our Imam Salawatullah. That's the shrines of Imam. I mean, imagine, just if they told you that our Imam Salawatullah Salam alayhi, Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajallah Ta'ala Farajah Sharif, he is now in the city of Kufa. Ya Allah, Ya Faraj Allah. In the city of Kufa, and you can go and see him. And wouldn't you give everything and do everything in your power to go and visit your Imam and to just look at the Imam Salawatullah Salam alayhi, just one glance at the Imam alayhi salam. So the people, the Shia, the followers of the Imam will like that as well. They would go to city of Samarra, but as you all know that the Shia were oppressed. They will kill him for the suspicion of being a Shia. So the Imam, of course, they can't visit the house of Imam Salamullah alayhi. There's a lot of spies, a lot of people are looking at the house of the Imam. So they will go on any pretenses, any false pretenses, maybe sometimes, go to that city and wait for the Imam on Monday and Thursday for the Imam Salamullah alayhi to go to the palace and coming from the palace. But Imam Salamullah alayhi, knowing that some of the Shia will do that, will send words for them that when you see me, don't point even at me. Allahu Akbar. Imagine. Don't even point at me. Don't say salam at me. And this is a famous narration of the Imam Salamullah alayhi, that takhattum bil yamin, that putting a ring on your right hand is one of the traditions of the mu'mins, or the signs of the mu'mins. But Imam Salamullah alayhi would send words for them that don't put, I told you that to put your ring on your right hand. Now I'm telling you to put it on your left hand, because they can distinguish between you and others. And if they know, they will prosecute you. There was this narration of a person who saw a man and told him the direction of, and he was from, I think it was from Iran or from some other city. They didn't know the direction of the Samarra. I mean, it was a relatively new city. So they would give them huge sums of money just to reach that city, just to go to that place to visit their Imam Salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. And with all of that, Imam Salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, he changed the hearts of a lot of people in Samarra. Imam Salawatullahi wa salam alayhi preserved his Shia, and Imam Salawatullahi wa salam alayhi gave us this big and precious knowledge of him through his akhbar and through his riwayat and hadith, salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. One of the narrations of Imam salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, inshallah we can benefit from, is Imam salamullah alayhi says, al-faqru ma'ana khayrun min al-ghina ma'a ghayrina. Being poor, or the poverty with us is better than wealth with others. Because Imam Salamullah alayhi knows that some people would go and be an aid to tyrants. Some people would go and humiliate themselves, as I will inshallah tell that other hadith, for the sake of the money or wealth. And Imam Salamullah alayhi says, وَالْقَتْلُ مَعَنَا خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ مَعَ عَدُوِّنَا. Being slayed with us is better than living with our enemies. Truly. Because being slayed with them will be the true living. And living with their enemy will be the true death. وَنَحْنُ كَهْفٌ لِمَنْ الْتَجَى إِلَيْنَا وَنُورٌ لِمَنْ اسْتَبْصَرَ بِنَا. And we are a cave for someone who seeks refuge with us, and light for everyone who can see. وَعِصْمَةٌ لِمَنْ اعْتَصَمَ بِنَا. And we are guardian to whoever seeks protection with us. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi ajma'in. من أحبنا كان معنا في السلام الأعلى ومن انحرف عنا فإلى النار والعياذ بالله. So whoever loves us will be on the highest peak with us, and whoever is deviated from us, he will be at the bottom pit of hellfire. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Imam Salamullah alayhi says in the hadith that about the mu'min and the ما أقبح بالمؤمن أن تكون له رغبة تذله what it's ugly thing if a mu'min has a desire that humiliates him. Truly, if we can take a lesson from this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the mu'min freedom to choose, but not to humiliate himself. A mu'min, if he wants to be humble, he needs to be humble with his brothers and sisters. If he wants to be humble, he needs to be humble with the mu'mineen. If he needs to be humble, he needs to be humble with the people who are learning and worthy, but not with the tyrants, not with the people who can humiliate him in other ways. So sometimes a person has a desire. You've seen, like, I know a friend of mine, a good brother, he used to chew tobacco for a while. And he said, one night I ran out of tobacco, and I went to, he was in a, not in his country, a different country. So there was a handful of people from his country who actually chewed tobacco. It's not a common thing. So he said that I went to their house at 12 at midnight. It was like going from house to house. It was like dark. And I thought to myself, I mean, this is a humiliation for me. That's it. I'm going to quit. And from that day, he quit tobacco. And that's just an example. For a lot of us, there's different desires. There's a different thing that people humiliate themselves for. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a woman. Maybe it's I don't know, a seat of power. Anything can be. But for the mu'min who can understand better, who can follow, who is following Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim ajma'in, is forbidden to humiliate himself for this worldly desire that he follows. Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi says in that narration, من تواضع في الدنيا لإخوانه فهو عند الله من الصديقين ومن شيعة علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام حقا. If someone, you don't humiliate yourself, or be humble, actually. Be humble for the tyrants. No, it's the exact opposite. But for your brothers and sisters, sometimes for some people it's opposite. They are humble for people who are not followers of Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa sallam alayhi, because they are following their worldly desires and are showing aggression and anger towards the followers of Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa sallam alayhi ajma'in. Imam salamullah alayhi says, if anyone is humble to his brothers and sister in this world, so he's with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the level of the Siddiqeen and the true follower, the woman Shi'ati Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will truly make us the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Al-Mu'tamad al-Abbasi alayhi la'anullah, like his predecessor, suspected the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Even though he had eyes on the Imam 24/7, but they have this desire and this urge to have no one oppose them in anything, even in popularity. So one day, alayhi la'anullah, they had this untamed horse that no one could ride him. So he thought to himself, this is the best opportunity to kill the Imam with this horse. He would kick the Imam or throw him from his back, and they would say, he died in this accident and this freak accident, and that's it. So he called the Imam up and told him that, don't you say that you have authority over everything, and you can understand even the animals? Don't you? Can you go and tame that horse? So he told his servant, the so-called Khalifa, to bring the horse. Even the servant said, no, he declined. I can't bring it. It is so wild that it might kill me as well. So Imam told him, no, you don't need to. So Imam Salamullah alayhi went to that horse, and he just put his hand on that horse, and he claimed that horse back and mounted the horse with that horse is like being tamed all along. So he was thinking of different way, and the favorite way to assassinate someone, even within themselves, even the Abbasis, they had this maybe was a tradition, I don't know, to kill their opponent by poisoning. So at the beginning of the month of Rabi' al-Awwal, Mu'tamad al-Abbasi alayhi la'anullah, he put a poison for our Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, showing no mercy for his young age, showing no mercy for the Imam, for being the descendant of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, showing no mercy for someone who did nothing wrong to anyone and didn't wrong anyone. Imam Salamullahi alayhi felt sick after that and was bound to his bed. The poison starts spreading in Imam Salamullahi alayhi's body. So at one night, Imam Salamullahi alayhi told there was a servant by the name of Aqid al-Khadim. He called upon Aqid, who told him, Aqid, give me some water. There was a water there is boiling a little bit with some herb in it. So will that ease the pain of Imam Salamullahi alayhi? Aqid said, I brought the bowl of the water to Imam Salamullahi alayhi. But Imam, even with that age, with that young age, when he took the bowl of the water and wanted to drink that little bit of water, he couldn't, because his hands start shaking and the bowl start hitting the mouth of Imam Salamullahi alayhi. Imam then told Aqid, go to that room, you will see a boy praying. Tell him to come to his father because his father is leaving this life. Aqid said, I never seen this boy before. Aqid then entered that room. He saw a boy on the position of sujood, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Said, oh my master, Imam Salamullahi alayhi wants you. The boy which was our Imam Salamullahi alayhi rushed toward his father, embraced his father Salamullahi alayhi. He gave water to the Imam alayhi salam. Then Imam Salamullahi alayhi start reciting Quran, start whispering things in the Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu's ears. Then the Imam Salamullahi alayhi asked Imam al-Mahdi to give him wudu, because he was unable to do wudu himself. Imam Salamullahi alayhi then did the wudu for the Imam on his behalf. He put water on his face, he washed his hands, he wiped his head and his feet. Then Imam Salamullahi alayhi faced Qibla. Here I don't know truly which was harder for the Imam صاحب الزمان عليه السلام for losing his father and to see his father is dying, or for the Imam Salamullahi alayhi seeing that he is leaving his son Salamullahi alayhim ajma'een. Then he told him to put him towards the Qibla, to face Qibla. Imam Salamullahi alayhi stretch his legs, he put his arms to his side, his forehead starts sweating. He said his Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Then his soul left his body. رحم الله من نادى وإماما وسيدا. Then Imam al-Mahdi, he prepared his father, he washed his father, he prayed on his father, removing Ja'far al-Kadhab from praying on his father. They buried his father in his house next to his grandfather Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam. But waili alayk Sayyida Zainab. Imam Sahib al-Asr was the man was 5 years old. Sayyida Zainab was 5 years old when she lost her mother Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen was washing Fatima alayhi salam. Then he all of a sudden he went back, started weeping, started crying out loud. Then Sayyida Salamullahi alayhi, they come, did you say that don't cry loudly? Imam Salamullahi alayhi said, yes, but when my hand went on the wound of Fatima, she was hiding this from me. I couldn't hold myself. Then he called, Ya Hasan, Ya Hussein, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, come to say goodbye to your mother Fatima. فإنه آخر الوداع. This is the last farewell. Then Imam al-Hasan, Imam al-Hussein, Sayyida Zainab, Kulthum, they throw themselves on the body of Fatima al-Zahra, crying. He said, فحنت وأنت وضمته إليهما. She, Salamullahi alayha, she hugged them, she embraced them. But waili alayk Sayyida Zainab, this is one very hard one very hard situation of leaving your mother Fatima al-Zahra, but was harder than leaving the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada Abi Abdullah al-Hussein ala Ramda'i Karbala, leaving the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada headless, without washing, without burial on the plain of Karbala. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. سيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت محمد أي منقلب سينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajallah ta'ala farajah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the opportunity to have a glance on his beautiful face. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be among his army, among his companions. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajallah ta'ala farajah sharif to give a speedy recovery for all the mu'mineen and mu'minat who are in need of dua, who are in hospitals. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us and our lineage until the day of judgment on the path of Ahl Bayt salawatullahi salam alayhim ajma'in. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on all the mu'mineen and mu'minat. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the ayah Mubarakah to grant all the mu'mineen and mu'minat their wishes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. 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 صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
या हुसैन इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला शाह सामरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला हाय कयामत की घड़ी आ गई कैसी साए से महरूम तेरे हो गए मेहदी हाय कयामत की घड़ी आ गई कैसी साए से महरूम तेरे हो गए मेहदी होके जुदा रोता रहा आपका बेटा ऐ मेरे बाबा अस्करी मौला ऐ बिन ज़हरा अस्करी मौला कैसा सीरी का सितम तुम पे हुआ है तेरे लिए घर तेरा जिंदान बना है मौला तेरा घर में हुआ दफन जनाजा हाय गुरबत अस्करी मौला ऐ बिन ज़हरा अस्करी मौला सामे हर साल चले आते हैं ज़वार आपका ताबूत उठाते हैं अज़ादार सामेरा हर साल चले आते हैं ज़वार आपका ताबूत उठाते हैं अज़ादार फर्शे अज़ा बिछता रहा बिछता रहेगा लीजिए पुरसास करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला सारे अज़ादारों के लब पे ये दुआ है वास्ता तुझको तेरे बेटे का दिया है सारे अज़ादारों के लब पे ये दुआ है वास्ता तुझको तेरे बेटे का दिया है दिल में बसा रोजा तेरा मेहदी के बाबा हमको बुलाना अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला जब भी तेरे नाम की होती है ये मजलिस साथ में ज़हरा के चली आती है नरगिस देख जरा महबूब का है तेरी ज़ौजा करती है नोहा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला पर्दे गैबत में जो बेटा है तुम्हारा भेजे उसे जल्द परेशान है दुनिया पर्दे गैबत में जो बेटा है तुम्हारा भेजे उसे जल्द परेशान है दुनिया सुन लो दुआ बहर खुदा वारिस काबा है ये इल्तिजा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला इब्न ज़हरा अस्करी मौला सल्लल्लाहु अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन बिया दरबार में महदी बिया महदी बिया महदी तू ही नूरुल خدا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا عین کل زهرا ببین کرب و بلای ما بیا مهدی تو ای مولا ببین شور و نوای ما بیا ای منجی دنیا بیا ای منجی دنیا ببین بزم و غذای ما توی خدا گشا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا در بزم ما مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی به اشک مادر زهرا ده مولا ترا سوگن با آه طفل بی بابا ده مولا ترا سوگن بر آن جان با زبی پروا ده مولا ترا سوگن نما لطف تو یا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا در بزم ما مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی جهان در انتظار توست چرا مولا نمیایی به قلبی ما شرار توست چرا مولا نمیایی دل ما بی قرار توست چرا مولا نمیایی تو هستی مقتدا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا در بزم ما مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی برای یاری قرآن هزاران لاله احمر به دستی دشمنان دین شده در جبهه ها پر تمام خاکی این کشور تمام خاکی این کشور شده کرب و بلا یکسر نمی آیی چرا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا در بزم ما مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا عین کل زهرا ببین کرب و بلای ما بیا مهدی تو ای مولا ببین شور و نوای ما بیا ای منجی دنیا ببین بزم غذای ما توی خدا گشا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی به اشک مادر زهرا دهم مولا ترا سوگن به آه طفل بی بابا دهم مولا ترا سوگن بر آن جان با زبی پروا ده مولا ترا سوگن نما لطف تو یا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا در بزم ما مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی اللهم صل على محمد و آل محمد.
يا حسين يا حسين هالساعة روح المهدي يا ناس هالساعة روح المهدي يا ناس متوجرة بنيران الأرجاس. هالساعة روح المهدي يا ناس متوجرة بنيران الأرجاس. صغير بعده وشيب الراس بفراق أبوه ما ظلت أنفاس. هالساعة روح المهدي يا ناس متوجرة يا بنيران الأرجاس. صغير بعده وشيب الراس بفراق أبوه ما ظلت أنفاس. كم لوعة عاش بسبب فرقاه، اي والله كم لوعة عاش بسبب فرقاه. وين اليواسي بدمعة العين قائم محمد ناصر الدين ذايب دليل من الونين. ما شاف راح بهاي السنين. وين 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 اليواسي بدمعة العين قائم محمد ناصر الدين ذايب دليله من الونين. ما يا شاف راحة بهاي السنين. سهم اليتام من صغر صابه، سهم اليتام من صغر صابه. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت محمد أي منقلب سينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all your amal, inshallah, dear brothers and sisters, mu'min and mu'minat. Tonight and tomorrow also marks the end of the Ayam of Aza, the 2 months and 8 days of the tragedies of Al Muhammad. Inshallah, in this period, albeit we've been in lockdown, but inshallah we have learned the love of Imam Hussein, to never take the ni'mah of being together to mourn for Imam Hussein and for the Holy Prophet's family, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the name of Imam Hasan ibn Ali al-Askari to be able to grant us the opportunity, inshallah, in the coming programs to be in person, and for next year in Ashura and the program of Arba'een, for us to be together, inshallah. We will recite the final salam, and we will ask for the reappearance of his holy son, صاحب العصر والزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم يا كريم. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل يا رب على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء البتول سيدتي نساء العالمين. وصل يا رب على صبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين عليهم السلام، وبالخصوص سيدي ومولاي أبا الفضل العباس وسيدتي ومولاتي زينب الكبرى عليهما السلام. وصل يا رب على أئمة المسلمين وحجج الله على خلقه علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن العسكري الزكي الهادي ابن علي والخلف الصالح الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل يا رب على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all your amal inshallah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow the holy reappearance of our Imam Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman inshallah by the wasila of his holy father Imam al-Askari alayhi afdal as-salatu was-salam. Inshallah we look forward to seeing you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.